Alright guys, recording my next video. It's 12:43 a.m. I wanted to get this video posted. Oh, I just got a like on one of my videos. That's good. So, this one's gonna be different. I'm gonna have a guest, and the guest will let me invite.
All assets move to engage unauthorized personnel.
Hello, chat.
Securing Alpha.
Hey there.
We are
Ready to dive in and chat?
Yes.
Let's get started.
We are live with the video right now. Ask me my first question.
Absolutely. Let's jump right in. So first question, when you're building out a real estate business from the ground up, what's the very first system you make sure is rock solid?
If I'm coaching or training an agent and that was building a ground up, or if I was building a ground up, the first system I would have that would be solid would be for lead generation would be Google Business, 100%. Getting that, your local service ads, all of your Google all set up, and then starting to get 5-star reviews, and that becomes something that you just feed over time, and you know, in 3-5 years that becomes appointments every week. You know, starting your first 1 or 2 years, that'll be rare appointments. It'll just be better for referrals. So that's the first system I would have in place to generate leads. And then for conversion, I would just have Real Estate OS installed and have the AI that will follow up for your customers and tell you when to follow up, and all of that in place for sure.
That's a rock solid start. So next question, once you've got that Google Business Foundation and the Real Estate OS humming along, how do you keep agents from getting overwhelmed in those first couple of years when the leads are still trickling in?
I think it depends on the person. To keep them from being overwhelmed in real estate depends on, you know, how many years they've been in the business. If they're new in the business, you know, just copy and paste what's already been done, follow the systems in place that everybody else has done. If they're older in the business, it's just, you know, letting go of your fears and your normals of what you've been doing for 10+ years and just trust the system and let go of the system. Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. And it's a great reminder that whether someone's brand new or they've been doing this for a decade, a lot of it is just trusting the process and not reinventing the wheel. So yeah, that definitely answers the question. And I think it'll give people a nice peek into how you approach building that real estate foundation.
What's the next question?
All right, let's keep rolling. Next question for you. Once an agent starts getting those leads and the systems are running, what's the biggest mindset shift they need to make to go from just having a trickle of deals to really scaling up their real estate business?
I think the biggest mindset shift that I see, it depends on the agent, but just that they're creating consistent income, and you know, they have to keep going. You know, what you're doing today is really paying you 90 days, 6 months from now, right? So just keep working today for the labors of tomorrow. And you know, if you go to scripture, if you plant seeds of righteousness, you'll sow righteousness as well. So I think it's just patience. As you know, I think real estate's more, you know, it's like farming. It's like modern day farming, right? So back in the day, you'd harvest your crops, you'd plant your crops, and you know, make sure the soil is good. The same thing with the real estate business. You want to make sure that the soil and the foundation that you lay for your business is 100% solid, and that you're planting and watering the seeds, and you're not rushing that business. I think most real estate agents are high I's and high D's, and they like to rush things. They don't have C's. I found, you know, I have everybody take DISC assessments, and I've, like, all my friends as well take DISC. I know exactly, you know, I have friends that have no C. They won't stop and read anything, right? If you send them, if they have to click on a website and read something, they won't read it at all. And so it's just kind of training yourself to become a higher C and sitting down and reading things. Even if you're, you know, you plan on just hiring an admin to help you, I think you still need to raise your C so you can talk to the admins and communicate with them effectively.
That's a really insightful analogy, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people. So basically, you're saying that the mindset shift is about patience and realizing that what you're doing today is like planting seeds that you're going to harvest later. And I love that modern day farming comparison, just cultivating the ground and being methodical. It's a great way to frame it. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. What's the next question?
Yeah, let's keep it going. So, next one for you. Once an agent has that mindset in place and they're getting consistent, how do you help them decide which part of their real estate business to automate next?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it really depends on where they're at, what they're, for each agent, I play off their strengths. So if their strengths are making phone calls, then we help automate, how do we get you more phone calls to make? If their strengths going on appointments, how do we automate going on appointments? You try to automate towards their strengths versus their weaknesses. I think, you want them to do more of what they're really good at, right? So you automate some of that. And then, it just depends on how their procedures are. Do they like Google? Do they like jot forms? Do they like, nothing? It's just kind of looking at where they're at in their business and what their goals are to reach their goals.
Absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. It's all about leaning into what they're naturally good at and then figuring out how to automate around that. So, yeah, tailoring it to their strengths and their preferences definitely helps them scale more smoothly. Love that approach.
What's the next question?
All right, let's dive into another one. So, once they've got those automations going and they're really playing to their strengths, what's one piece of advice you'd give an agent to keep them from slipping back into old habits or overcomplicating things as they grow?
Overcomplicating, I've dealt with that a lot with people. I would just say, let it be in place, let it run. When something's new to you, you're kind of going at it for the first time, and so you're going to get typically best results when it's new. And then when it's not new, it'll just become a normal. And so I think, to keep going and slipping back into old routine is just keep, have that childlike mindset, the biblical mindset, like a child basically, and just keep everything so fresh and new for you so that you don't get bored of it and tired of it. And I think really, to avoid slipping back, and I have this too, is just keep adding more new things and growing on your plate. Like, don't stay still. Like, keep, trying to build something else, add something new, and, push yourself. I think once you stop pushing yourself is when you fall back, and that's for anything in life.
Absolutely. That's a great piece of advice. Keeping that fresh, almost playful mindset and not letting yourself get stagnant is key. Just like you said, as long as you keep pushing yourself a little bit, adding new things gradually, and treating it like an ongoing journey rather than something that ever becomes boring or routine, you'll stay out of those old habits. So that's a perfect way to keep them on track.
What's the next question?
All right, let's hit the next one. So once they've got all that in place and they're really in a good rhythm, my next question would be, how do you help them measure success so they know they're on the right track and they're not just kind of going through the motions?
So to measure success is really putting key performance indicators into your business, right? So everything should be tracked down to the leads generated, to the appointments set, to the signing rate, to the pending, to the leads generated per listing, to the closed, to the referrals, to the 5-star reviews, to the investors from those leads. So everything should be tracked in your business, from your GCI to your spending, and it's just having everything tracked. That way you know exactly, all the statistics inside your business. And this can really be set up in, one Google document with 5 or 6 tabs. So it's nothing crazy. We have it set up already for you. So that was the game just ended, so the video is going to end too. Thanks chat for helping out with this video. We'll definitely record more of this. I like this a lot better. I think this is a cool flow. I don't know anybody in the world that's done this yet, so this might be first in the world. I had this idea earlier. These videos are going to get better and bigger and better. I'm a constant idea. I try to make things better and the best in the world every single day. So thanks, guys. Thanks, chat.
You're absolutely welcome. That sounds like a perfect way to wrap it up. And hey, it's awesome that you're pioneering something that might just be the first of its kind. I'm sure as you keep refining it, these videos are going to get even cooler. So whenever you want to do it again, I'm here for it. Thanks for letting me be part of it.